Hello and welcome back. We are continuing on our quest to create a 2023 all-in-one mini PC which will be running 24/7, consuming less than 20 watt of power, costing less than $300, and we are turning it into a dynamic Homelab powerhouse. This setup is also capable of serving as a NAS device, so you don't have to buy a QNAP device or something. You can use it as a shared storage, manage your personal media, all the media stack software like running Radar, Sonar, Jellyfin, or Kodi, supporting Ubuntu, Docker for your Homelab needs, and much more. And all that by using open source software, hence paying zero cost for any software related stuff. In today's episode, we are going to elevate this mini PC by integrating TrueNAS Scale as a virtual machine on Proxmox. TrueNAS Scale is an incredible GUI-based open source storage solution. Means free. Perfectly suitable for a typical home NAS. Include backing up your personal media collection or files, or basic cloud data files exist in Drive. So let's not waste any more time and jump right in. Before we get into the installation of TrueNAS Scale, we need to make sure basics are in place. Step 1 involves procuring the right PC. In our previous videos, we have explored the best low-power Homelab NAS Mini PC of 2023. You can refer to our installing and configuring Proxmox on this mini PC guide. Review link is above and in the description as well. Now you may be wondering why install it on a virtual machine. That's a fair question. TrueNAS Scale is often recommended for installation on physical machines, especially for large installations or businesses. However, we are aiming to demonstrate how much can be achieved by using just one device for a typical home user needs. In my experience, TrueNAS Scale runs smoothly as a VM for such use cases. There are other models mentioned in the mini PC review which has higher budget if you're interested in that. Obviously can do a lot more, but they cost more as well as consume a lot more energy. Next question may be why TrueNAS Scale and not Core? From a home user NAS or Homelab perspective, TrueNAS Scale is the newest version. And being based on Debian OS, which aligns very well with Proxmox, which is also Debian based. Moreover, it's anticipated that future development focus will likely be more on TrueNAS Scale. Now the basic questions are out. If you have any other questions, put them down in the comment box. In order to install TrueNAS Scale, we must first download the ISO file, launch your web browser of choice, and head over to the TrueNAS Scale website. From here, you can click on Get TrueNAS and then click on TrueNAS Scale. Here, you can download the most recent version of the ISO file. Just go down and enter your email, and you can create an account here. Or in my case, I've already signed up, so we'll just click on No Thank You link, which will give us the link to download the file. At this point, copy this location, which we'll be using in the next step to install it on Proxmox. Start the Proxmox server and get the IP address. So let's access the Proxmox web interface through your browser and sign in. In my case, my IP is 110. So you'll be connecting to a port 8006. This connection not private dialog, which is perfect. Click advanced, proceed. It's asking you for login and password. So once you logged on to Proxmox, first step is to go to local Proxmox, click on ISO images and download from URL. This is where you will copy the link. Enter URL, click query URL to make sure URL is correct. It identified the right name, size. Let's download. It will take a few minutes to download. Download is completed. Before we continue creating the VM, let's configure the network. We want to give TrueNAS a dedicated network. Connect to Proxmox, go to network, and I have connected another network to the 4th port in this case. So let's edit it. Let's give it a IP range. We'll make it 210. I already checked 210 is available. No need for a gateway. Guess you don't need one. And in the comment, we just want to give it a name. So we call it ENP4 as 0. And we check this box called auto start. Click OK. Once we are done with this change, now click on apply configuration and voila. At this point, second network is available to Proxmox, and now we will be using this to install our TrueNAS. Remember, the IP we decided for TrueNAS is 210 in this case, which we'll be using while creating the VM. With the TrueNAS skill ISO link at hand, it's now time to establish a new virtual machine with Proxmox. So we are at Proxmox interface. Right click, create VM, give it a unique ID, give your VM a catchy name to identify after all. Next, in ISO image, select the image we downloaded. Click on Camo Agent. This way, Proxmox can talk to TrueNAS. TrueNAS scale needs little space, so allocate 32 GB of virtual hard disk, keeping with defaults. Click Next. We total have 4 cores. In this case, we are giving 2 to this virtual machine. Click Next. Memory-wise, I have installed 32 GB of memory. As we are using it as a virtual machine, I'm only granting it 8 GB of RAM. That would be sufficient because we're going to use TrueNAS in a very particular fashion where it makes most of the sense. Click No Network Device as we plan to allocate direct network to this. And do not check Start After Created right now. Click Finish. Now the VM is there. It's not yet started. Go to Hardware, Add, and this time we will support PCIe device. And we can see all our devices are visible. As part of the Proxmox configuration in the previous video, we have the steps to enable the IOMMU to make sure that your devices can be passed through from Proxmox to virtual machine. And here is the fourth one, which we are picking in this case. 0400, click Add, and at the point we got the PCI device. Now is a good time to wake up our virtual machine. Select Install, Upgrade option, select 32 GB virtual hard disk, click Yes. Now this part, this is a pro tip. Go for root as your user credential. It's kind of like getting the backstage access, right? And trust me, it will save you some hassle later on, as TrueNAS OS in general is not yet fully matured. So when you have to reset it, after that, if you create some other administrative users, that won't work. So it's better to use root. Click OK, enter the password for root, and TrueNAS installation is completed. Now it's asking you to remove the installation media. So go to Hardware option. I would just click Remove. Click OK and go back to the console and select OK. At this point, select the option Reboot System. System rebooted. It took about 5 minutes. So now let's take a look at the TrueNAS Scale web interface. Get the IP address from the virtual machine. As you can see, IP address is 112. Now let's log into TrueNAS Scale web interface. You're again greeted with this warning. Click Advanced, proceed to Next. Log into TrueNAS Skill Console using the user credential you set up earlier. Here you can see PCI device is the one used for network, so there is no direct connection. In Proxmox interface, network looks pretty good. And that's a wrap, folks. You are now one step closer to becoming a Homelab wizard. If you found this video helpful, go ahead and hit that like button. It helps the channel spread out its wings and keep me motivated. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and click the bell icon so you don't miss the next episode where we dive into the 7 must-do configurations to get the best out of TrueNAS Scale. If you have any questions, suggestions, or if there are any other topics you want me to cover, drop a comment below. Your feedback is super valuable to us. Until next time, keep exploring and stay curious.